It's Thursday, August 13th, 2026, and you're watching the cwProposal report. All right, this time around, I'd like to go through some tips and tricks for entering numeric values into your proposal. We went over some of these before. We're going to cover the numeric input slider, but also some other tips and tricks. So let's say, for example, you're starting a new proposal. We have a blank proposal open here. And we want to open a template because right now, if we go down to the pricing page, there's just one blank category and one blank line item. But we want to do a new one for let's say for this open deck, because that's the only one we have right now. We open that up, and we're going to see, we would normally fill in all this client information, but let's skip by that. And we can see that it put in all of these line items that came from our template, a bunch of required items and some optional ones. And then, of course, we've got the grand total and the payment schedule down here as well. Those were all part of the template. And so many times this is how it'll start out. So this puts all of the line items we need, but we need to fill in quantities. We've got prices, we've got units here, but what we really need is these quantities. So if we're quickly going to enter these in, I do have my keystroke indicator up here. So you'll see right up here in this corner, it'll show you what keystroke I'm pressing. Like if I press escape right now to get rid of that pink box, it's how it showed you escape, so you can see what I'm doing and what buttons I'm pressing. So one thing we can do is we can just, once we're on here, we can click on the quantity under drawings. And if we want to quickly enter these numbers because we know them all and we know what we're working with here, we can just hit 1 for quantity. And if you hit enter, it automatically moves down to the next quantity. So if you're good at using your numeric keypad, you can do it that way. Let's say for removing the existing deck, we know we just went and looked at this house and the deck had a 16 by 16 foot section and a 12 by 12 foot section that we need to tear down, and it doesn't have any stairs. So instead of doing that math somewhere else, you can do it right here, because you can do 16 times 16 plus 12 times 12, and you can enter that right in, kind of that formula right in to the input for the quantity. And then when you hit enter to move off of that, that's 16 times 16, which is 256, plus 12 times 12, which is 144, and that should be 400 if my math is correct, and it is. So now that formula doesn't stay in there. This isn't like Excel where you can go back and edit the formula and work with it. This is just for quick things, and I use it all the time. Because maybe I don't remember what 16 times 16 is, or if it's an odd shape or something, you can put that in there. But you can always go back and re-enter it, And let's say the new deck we're putting up is also, when you see this around here, this means this is a linked quantity, right? So any of these green ones down here are going to be linked to that one. So let's say the new deck we're putting up is it's 20 feet wide and it comes out 12 feet from the house. So we can quickly go, okay, that's a 240 square foot deck just by entering the formula. And then here's another one. Let's say the railings. Let's say, again, this is a very simple deck. We know that it's 20 feet wide. It sticks out from the house 12 feet, and it's got a 3-foot opening in the front with stairs coming down that are going to have 14 rises. So for the railing, I know I can do, the 2 side railings are going to be 12 feet. So I can do 2 times 12. And then the front railing is going to be 20 feet minus the 3 foot for the stairs. So I'll say plus 17. And then there's 2 railings coming down both sides of the stairs that are going to be about 12 foot apiece. So I can say, again, plus 2 times 12. And that's my whole formula for all of my railings in there, right? That gives me 65 lineal feet of railing. So it's just a quick way to do that. If I was going to, just if you don't want to do it, if you want to just look at it, if you have a sketch and you just want to go, that's a 12-foot piece of railing plus a 12 plus a 17 plus a 16 plus a 15, you can just type them all in like that. And then when you hit enter, you're going to get your total lineal feet. So just a quick way to put that in there, right? So we got 14 stairs. We got 14 lineal feet of square feet of concrete. We've got accent lights on the stairs. There's 6 of them and 1 transformer. And just like that, all of our quantities are done, and our base, so our base is done right here, right? Now, another thing we can do is we can use to change quantities. Normally when I'm putting them in initially, I'll just type them in just like we just did, either typing in the raw number or typing in a very short formula, very short, quick formula, just instead of doing it separately on a calculator. Then we can use the input slider control. If you click on any of these, let's say we decided there's going to be 8 lights instead of 6. If you click in the quantity for lights and you hold it down for more than, you hold the button down for more than half a second, you see the background changes color. And then if you slide to the right or to the left, it'll change that number by 1. If you're not holding any of the, what we're going to talk about modifier keys in a second. And also it's locked onto that. So if you move straight down, you can move back and forth and move that to whatever you want. You probably wouldn't want a negative number, but we could change that from 6 to 9 to 12 pretty easily, right? So let's say we decide we're going to put 12 of them there instead. That'll update. So that's a good way, especially let's say you're trying to get this price to come in below 20,000 because you want, you want the overall to be below 20,000, and you were charging, let's say you were charging $35 a square foot for your deck, for your base deck, and you go, oh, I came in just above 20,000. I'd rather have that first number say 19. Click on this, take it down to 34. Still not enough. Take it down to 33. Yeah, that'll do it. All right. So that's how you use the input slider. Very simple. But let's say you want to make a big change in the number. Let's say, oh, this 400's wrong. I really want that. There's really 200 square feet of tear down there. Now I can, just change the 4 to a 2. I can type it in, but you can also, if you want to use the input slider, you can click on this. It changes, and if you hold down the shift key, see, you can see in the little icon by the mouse there, it has got that up arrow. That means I got the shift key held down. Now if you slide, it changes it by 10. So instead of changing it by 1, it changes by 10. So you can get that down to 200 very quickly, right? And let's say it's an odd number like 207. If you're down to 200 and you just let off the shift, now it'll move it by 1, so you can go back up to 7. So again, if you can just type it in again too. If I want to change this to 500, I can change it to 500. But if I want to go back in here, and now I want to change this to 197 with the input slider, I could hold down the shift, go down to 200, and then let off, and then go down to 197. So I think you get once you get used to using the input sliders, that'll be very quick and easy to enter the number that way. So that's it for this one. Just wanted to show you some really quick ways. Of course, you want to use linked quantities because you can see we put this 240 in here and it entered our 240 everywhere else that we have it linked. Same thing with the railing, 72, because we got railing upgrades down here, so those are all linked. Those links were stored in our template, so you definitely want to make sure you take advantage of that. And it's real, this is typically what I do, that I'll go through and go down and look at each one. If there's one that doesn't have a quantity in it, that's one I still need to fill out, right? This accent lights on the post, and let's say I count those off my sketch, and I know there's going to be 12 of those.